but I can share with you that innovation is actually one of the key ingredients for you to succeed in the digital industry, not only to grow but also to survive. Right? So a little bit about myself. My name is Rafiq. I'm fortunate enough to have spent the past 8 years of my life in the digital industry, and I think what we do today is to share with you certain key learnings that I had in my previous experiences in multiple different companies. So next slide, please. So the past 8 years, I've spent my time in 3 different organizations. My first, experience in digital is in this company called Groupon. So Groupon at that time was a global organization, and I was fortunate enough to run the Groupon business for Malaysia. Eventually, a bunch of us left and decided to start up a new company called KFit. Spent about 14 months over there, and finally, right now, I'm in this company called Media Prima Digital, which is one of the largest digital media company in Malaysia. Next, please. So Groupon started in 2010, September 2010. At the point of time, e-commerce was still growing in Malaysia. Wasn't really very big. It was acquired by Groupon 4 months after inception, and I think Groupon was one of the best stories that has ever happened in Malaysia in terms of growth of e-commerce platform. So in 2011, Groupon as a company got maybe 50 million ringgit revenues, but 4 years later, it grew 5 times to 250 million ringgit revenues. At one point of time, Groupon was the largest e-commerce platform in Malaysia, and that platform was one of the first platforms that introduced Malaysians to the world of e-commerce. It was really fast growth, lightning speed execution, and eventually we also expanded our business not only from the F&B and beauty segments, but more into the products and also into the travel segments. So fast growing company, but it took us 4 years to get from nothing to 250 million ringgit. But amazingly, it took 18 months to get Groupon from one of the leading e-commerce platforms in Malaysia to disappearing from the country at all. So next slide, please. I think it's due to many reasons, right? Firstly, Groupon was growing very fast and it didn't really innovate on core abilities. For example, it was the same platform that we are operating on for 4 years, right? It didn't really change, especially as on-demand economics started to become more prominent. Groupon was the start in this voucher-based business. It didn't really grow, it didn't really innovate to capture the new on-demand economics in the digital space. Secondly, very little innovation on mobile. More and more of our transactions happen on mobile instead of the desktop, but we were not really a mobile optimized company. And again, at the same time, we had tons of data. We knew what people were transacting, we knew what people were buying, but at the same time, we didn't really use that to our advantage. Business was still BAU. So 4 years to go from nothing to one of the largest e-commerce platforms in Malaysia, 18 months towards not existing at all in Malaysia. So that's how fast the digital business can happen, and that's how fast things can actually disappear. So next slide. Just to share with you 3 key learnings that I've gotten from my time in Groupon. Firstly, never ever rest on your laurels. What works today might not work tomorrow, right? Again, 4 years to become the largest e-commerce platform, 18 months to disappear, to absolutely disappearing. So that's how fast things can move. And I think on to the second point, if you don't innovate, right? Digital innovation allows you to grow really fast, but other people innovating at a better rate than you means that you will be replaced. So that's very critical, and that's something that we've learned the hard way at our time to Groupon. But lastly, I think one of the biggest silver linings that I've learned in Groupon was that never underestimate the power of young people. The average age of the team in Groupon was 26 years old. We built one of the largest e-commerce companies in Malaysia with a team predominantly aged 26 and below. That's how amazing young people are. Young people can achieve a lot of good things, and I think looking forward to see all of you on your embarking on your adventures in the digital space soon. So next would be a bunch of us decided to leave Groupon. Next slide, please. And next slide, please. Okay, thanks. So we started a new company called KFit. So we saw this business model in America called ClassPass, which was growing very fast. It's basically a gym membership. You pay one fee, but you get access to hundreds of gyms and studios in your respective city. So we thought it was a highly scalable model, or something that we want to build fast, and a bunch of us decided to leave Group 1 to become the founding team of this business called Cafe. We knew what we had to do. We knew we had to grow very fast, because the moment we started our business, we knew there would be other people that would be in the space as well. So in a matter of 8 months, just 8 months, we have launched in 8 countries around the world. So we had businesses, or we had a platform operating in Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Taiwan, Korea, New Zealand, Australia, and Hong Kong. Just 8 months, 8 countries. That is how fast the team at Cafe was able to scale the business, and it grew really, really fast. At the same time, we were fortunate enough to get a good funding, specifically by a venture capital company called Sequoia Capital, which is one of the largest venture capital firms in the world. So that allowed us to grow really fast, and that allowed us to move really fast as well to capture a sizable market size regionally. So the key part is that while we have teams in every part in these 8 countries, a lot of our operations happen in Malaysia. We hired close to 150 people based in Malaysia to basically run operations across 8 countries globally. So that's the beauty of digital. You don't have to be present at wherever countries that you operate in, as long as you do the right thing for your customers. However, after 12 months of operating, we realized that there's a problem with the business model. Basically, the people who love our platforms the most, people who really goes to gym a lot, really engage in our platform, are the ones that cost us the most money, right? And what we call unit economics, which is the dollars and cents per transaction of the Cafe business model, didn't work out. We were bleeding quite a bit of cash, and we were stuck in a crossroad. Do we continue down this business model where we knew that there's a fundamental flaw in the business, or do we make a pivot, right? We didn't have that much money left in the bank. If we continued, we probably would run out of cash in a matter of 4 months or so. But if we pivoted and did something totally different, something that made sense, perhaps we could survive and create another business out of it. So based on that, we decided, let's pivot, let's do something different, because that's our only chance of survival. And next, I think that's when the platform called Faith was born. We knew that at the core, most of the founders were still were people who used to be in Group 1. We understood the local retail business quite well, and we realized that actually we have a strong team, we still have some cash in the bank. Let's build a business which we really can succeed based on the understanding that we've learned by running the Cafe business. So Faith is still around now. It's operating in Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. Last year, it raised funding close to $20 million, and I think it's definitely one of the leading, local retail platforms in these 3 countries, right? So 3 big learnings from Faith. Firstly, you've got to be brave to do the right thing, right? Pivoting was really difficult. We hired 150 people in the company that was supposed to operate in the health and fitness space. Overnight, we told them, hey guys, we have to do something totally different, right? It was a very difficult decision. When you spend a lot of your blood, sweat, and tears building business A, and you're going to put it aside, shut it down to focus on a brand new business model, it's a very tough decision. But it was a decision that was necessary for the survival of the company going forward. Again, back. Next one is pivot. It's not a bad word, right? If you're operating something, it doesn't work, don't be afraid to change the business model to something that allows it to work. So don't get stuck in but we've been doing this for 12 months, we spent so much money in this business, let's stick to it. If you know it's not going to work out, just change it, right? And it will work out in the long run. And lastly, there's no speed traps in digital, which means that move as fast as possible. Don't do tomorrow what you can do now, right? And I think because your competitors will be doing the same thing, right? So lastly, this is where I am today. I'm in Media Prima Digital. So after about 14 months in Cafe and Faith, I had the opportunity to join a large media company in Malaysia. Next, please. So Media Prima is basically one of the largest media companies in Malaysia, with assets in television, newspapers, radio, billboards, content, many different types of media assets. But at the same time, we weren't very strong in digital back then. It was definitely something that was overlooked because of our sheer strength in traditional media, right? Back then, it was a loss-making company. It's less than 1% of the total group advertising revenues. But when we started, when I joined, I think we wanted to create, the number one Malaysian digital media company in terms of reach, revenues, and retention. Very lofty goal for a company that has, underperformed significantly in the digital media space for the longest time. So I think, when we went to the drawing board, it's really important for us to look at actually what do we need to do to transform this company with a lot of potential to become, or to reach our ambitions and goals. Next slide, please. So firstly, we looked at our, core value proposition. What are we good at, right? Are we a platform company? Are we a news company? What are we? I think we realized that we're actually a very strong content company. I think that would become the core of our, all of our decisions and all of our investments moving forward. At the same time as well, we looked at, all of the assets that we had in the group, and we integrated it as one, right? So that, we can run it as a digital business and not have to rely on our traditional, media businesses to support the business. We have to operate on our own, and we have to operate independently. We also, invested in a lot of core intellectual property. I think, Yang Mohammed Steven Sim mentioned about a movie that, our Prime Minister watched recently, which is Agent Ali. Agent Ali is actually one of the core IPs of Media Prima. The movies are in the cinema now, so if you have time, please watch it. It's pretty good. And I think, what wasn't mentioned is that while the animation was good, we also created, games based on this particular intellectual property, which got close to $7 million globally as of today. So I think these are the things that we looked at. We looked at how do we expand into audiences we don't have, how companies can be acquired to build our business, and that will allow us to achieve our goals as soon as possible. Today, next slide please. Media Prima Digital has the largest mobile audience in Malaysia, even larger than Google and Facebook. So I think that's an amazing achievement, simply because Google and Facebook, all of you guys probably are on Google and Facebook every day, right? But I think we've built a digital media company that has a reach on mobile that's even larger than Google and Facebook, based on our strategies in content, right? Secondly, our revenue has grown 8 times since 2016, right? We started with a small base, but I think we've been able to scale the company to a certain size purely by having a plan and sticking to it. Same time, we've grown to 10% of our total group revenues, from less than 1% to 10% of total group revenues, and that's been a good story for growth for the group as well. At the same time, while we were usually loss-making before, right now we are very healthily profitable. Almost 20% of our revenues actually leads to profit after tax, right? And I think in just 4 years, we've been able to achieve our goal from the beginning, what we set in 2016, which was to be the number one Malaysian digital media company in terms of reach, revenues, and retention. So that's something that I'm very proud of the team for being able to achieve, and I think that's that shows that even though you set very lofty goals for yourself, these things are achievable. So 3 core takeaways from my current time at Media Prima Digital. I think firstly, you need to know your core competency. When you run a business, you really need to identify what you're really good at and what customers or your clients value out of you, right? Don't do things that would, just distracting, right? Know your core competency and focus on it. Secondly is don't get stuck in history, right? Focus on the future. We were a company that was big in television, big in newspapers, big in radio, but that's starting to become a lot of the past, right? We need to focus on the future, and I think that's what we did. We didn't rely on the prowess of our traditional media assets, but we built a company from scratch to build up to become one of the largest digital media companies in Malaysia. And lastly, basically set high goals for yourself and work hard to achieve them. Don't set yourself like okay, medium goals, maybe we can hit. If I set high goals, I don't achieve it, I'll be disappointed. Be brave, set high goals, right? Because when you set high goals, that's when you really push yourself and your team to be able to achieve, really amazing stuff, right? So I'm on my last slide. So basically, out of my 8 years in digital, I've always lived under 3 big mantras. Firstly is control the controllables. Basically means that it can get very overwhelming when you run a business, especially in digital, right? Things change all the time. But focus on things that you can control, focus on things that you can influence, and you'll be surprised how much you can actually achieve with that. I mean, it's very easy to say, oh, it's tough, for me to compete in a different country because my competitor has funding from the government or whatnot, right? You cannot control these things, so don't worry about it. Control what things you can control, right? Focus on it, and you'll be surprised. Things can actually, work out your way. Secondly, always start from the customer, and then you go backwards, right? Digital means that customer has all the power. You have direct access to customers. At the same time, customers have direct access to many different products and services that are probably competing against you. If you don't focus on your customers, you don't have a business, right? Anyone else can get the customer away from you, and that's going to be a disaster for you in the long run. So always focus on your customers, and you should be alright. Lastly, and I really live by this, is that awesome people make awesome companies, right? You can't do everything alone. Whatever that you do next time, you probably have a team around you, right? Focus on hiring the best people, build a good culture, because eventually the team that you have are the ones that will be, pushing you guys to great heights. So, focus on the team, make sure everyone's happy, make sure that, you hire people that can redraw the business, and then things can go your way. Alright, so I tend to talk very fast because there's a timer there, and I think we have 3 minutes left, which is just nice. So I think we'll open it up for questions and answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rafi.